Why should the Order suspect you, particularly?
First, it was the anti-robot rally. I was handling it, and the propaganda pamphlets failed to arrive in time.
I handled that. Craigus told me the plans during one of his interviews. The information was relayed to the automation device at the printing plant. It arranged for the press to break down.
That could hardly be blamed on you. Was there something else?
I was to lobby a bill through with the Ministry of Robotics, get them to set up recharging stations separate from the computers. We wanted to halt the interchange of information.
That was my assignment. As soon as I learned the plans from Craigus, I managed to have the motion pigeonholed.
Then there was the premature explosion of the bomb at Telefax.
His pattern of failure would be sufficient to cause suspicion.
My position in the Order is jeopardized for another and bigger reason.
What is that?
My sister is in rapport.
With the robot Pax, their personalities were melded 18 days ago.
Perhaps Pax should be reconditioned to become unsatisfactory. Then she will discard him.
Not wise. Craigus' sister is an editor at Telefax. Pax is especially indoctrinated in Morpheo's suggestion. Each time she sleeps, she is made more sympathetic to our cause.
Why didn't you warn us about the raid on Dr. Raven's laboratory?
My suspicions were first aroused at 6:30. The raid took place at 10 o'clock. I had no interview time in between. I must warn you, aside from these interview periods, I'm a very dangerous obstacle to you.
If the Order suspects him, it might be wise if we got him to resign.
That's easier said than done.
That's right. He's pretty ardent about the Brotherhood. Knowing the way he feels about robots, it's doubtful he'll act on any advice from us when he's himself again.
But he's in danger. The Order will take his identity away if they catch him.
They'll get a real surprise if they open him up.
One thing worries me. There are several million people in the city, and only 15 R-96s. How did these two happen to get together?
There's always the mathematical possibility of coincidence.
So slight as to be negligible.
It's possible that their identical operations might have created a subconscious affinity which would draw them together.
We'd better check that out. Their effect on each other was most interesting. When we picked them up, they were kissing.
That's understandable. Raven never tampered with instincts. You say the Order is now aware of the thalamic operation?
They know it is being done. They don't know how.
What are they going to do with Mark and the volunteer?
They will both be disassembled.
Father, Mother. Yes?
Dr. Raven is out here. He has recovered from the transplant and is voted in. He requests an immediate audience.
Have him come right in.
I'm Dr. Raven, a younger Dr. Raven, as you promised. Who's in charge here?
I was. But according to our agreement, I'm more than happy to turn the responsibility of this project over to you.
I remember these two. They were done right at the first.
That's right. It's 5 minutes to 5. Their interview period is almost over. We better put them back in the street before they regain themselves.
I think not. He served well. I think he deserves to know the truth, and I'd like to try an experiment.
Is that safe? None of the existing R-96s are aware that they're robots. The ones we tried to tell ceased to function.
They ceased to function because they were without faith and hope, important elements to humans. To die and be resurrected as a robot is a deep shock. The sudden realization that they are experiencing all the emotions of a human and yet are mechanical is an even deeper shock. Their future becomes hopeless.
But what hope can you offer them?
I just completed the final stages of an experiment prior to my recent death and recreation.
Will it work for her, too?
I think so.
Her job at Telefax is menial. She's never been able to offer helpful information. We can study their reaction. It will give us an idea of the length of acclimation period necessary.
Be prepared to draw them off for transplant in case the reaction is negative.
We'll raise the tubes one at a time.
Your clickers.
Your terminology is crude, but your conclusion is correct. More exactly, we are the Robot Central Committee for the Preservation of Mankind.
Preservation? What have you done with her?
She'll return it almost any time now.
Who the hell are you, and what do you do with these mechanized mannequins?
I'm Dr. Raven. You came to my laboratory last night. I'm told.
You're lying. Dr. Raven was an old man, and he was dead.
I didn't like being old and dead.
We must take the girl out of the Irrelathon.
Are you all right?
I feel fine. What happened? Where are we?
Where are we?
You're in the temple.
I wouldn't set foot in this filthy machine shop even if it weren't illegal for me to be here. Now, why were we forced to come here?
You weren't forced. You were invited.
Why don't you calm down, Craigus?
You know me?
Quite well, as a matter of fact. You had the surveillance committee of the Order of Flesh and Blood.
So that's it. Well, let me tell you and these clickers something. I just met this girl tonight. She knows nothing about the Order. Let her out of here right now.
No, I won't go without you.
I think I'll open up a few of you clickers. We're being held here against our will. I'll personally see to it that each of you are disassembled. And you imposter. I'll have your memory pulled so fast you'll never forget it.
You may leave at any time you wish.
I should have expected something like this after that clicker murdered the real Dr. Raven last night. You didn't bring us here just to let us go.
The murder of Dr. Raven was both unfortunate and unnecessary.
That attitude in a robot can get you divided into components.
Perhaps. Craigus, are you familiar with the R-96?
The Order knows they exist, and we know that you were... The real Dr. Raven was instrumental in their construction.
Creation of an R-96 requires a modified humanoid-type robot and the body of a human being, which has been dead less than 6 hours.
What do? Change brains?
In effect. We perform a thalamic transplant, but that's a misnomer. We draw off everything that makes a man peculiar to himself. His learning, his memory. These interreacting constitute his personality, his philosophy, capability, and attitude. The human brain is merely the vault in which the man is stored.
And not a very ingenious vault.
Ingenious enough to create you clickers.
Creation is only the result of the fusion of facts which haven't been previously related.
Fascinating.
There's one other point that may be of interest to you.
What?
Tell him.
Craigus, you are a robot.
A clicker? Me? Now, isn't that something? Now that you found yourself capable of murder, I don't suppose anything as minor as an insult would offend your circuits.
Craigus, there are only 15 robots on this planet capable of acting against a human being. You are one of them. Maxine is another.
Look, you can tell the world I'm a clicker, but you can't tell me.
Craigus, they think we're something or someone else.
Well, that's exactly what's happened. And you've made some pretty damaging admissions. Clicker, you're in trouble.
Horace, would you prove the status of our friend, Craigus? Proceed. Don't be afraid, Craigus. Take it out. The blade, Craigus. Look at the blade.
Didn't feel a thing.
Reflex action. Cut off your pain relays.
I'm no clicker. R96, anything. I hate robots. I'm a leader in the Order of Flesh and Blood.
And the only robot who can claim that distinction.
I don't know what you're talking. I'm me. I was a child. I grew up. I remember it all. I had little hands. They grew larger. I grew up. I can hate. I can kill. I'm a man.
Craigus, think back 6 months ago. Do you remember a certain day at your laboratory? The day you blacked out?
Of course, sir. Been working hard. My work in the day, the order at night, I must have fainted. But I got back to my apartment. I thought very well the next day.
That day, Craigus, you suffered a cerebral hemorrhage. You died.
I died. You performed that operation on me.
The father and mother informed us of your death immediately. We were able to retrieve your body before it was discovered, and the police informed of the fact. You were duplicated and transferred.
This is some sort of a joke. The idea takes some getting used to. The Craigus. A clicker.
That's right, Craigus. We're clickers. You're handling it quite well. Of course, you've had 6 months to acclimate. It's not really impossible, is it?
Craigus, what is he talking about?
Don't worry about it, dear. What about Maxine? Is she really like me?
Exactly.
Craigus, I don't understand any of this. I'm frightened.
There's no reason for you to be frightened. Think back, my dear. Do you recall an unusual incident at Telefax about 3 months ago?
3 months? The bomb. In the routing room at Telefax. Of course.
Craigus remembers it too.
No, it couldn't have been then. Maxine, we were only trying to discourage the pro-integration editorials. The bomb. We thought there'd only be robots in the routing room.
I was only stunned.